What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today, I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this A$AP Rocky album called Testing. This is just going to be a very quick and to the point rant review. Now, A$AP Rocky is a rapper out of Harlem, and I do think that he does have some great work in his discography. I especially love that first mixtape of his. To this day, I still revisit it. And even though his first two studio albums aren't amazing, I think they were pretty good. They're very consistent, they certainly have some great tracks on them, and Rocky himself has been quite the consistent artist. If you don't want to count the Cozy tapes, because, you know, that was him and a bunch of other people, and I didn't really fuck with those. But in spite of all that, man, I was still excited to go into this, because I have heard so much good music from him in the past that I thought maybe he'd do something good here. But unfortunately, some of this project is fucking terrible. I'm talking extra thick dumpster juice served with a plate of hot-baked squid assholes. That's how bad some of this project gets. First off, there are really some bad bars on here, so I had to take them down, starting with On Black Tux White Collar. I mean, this one starts off good enough. He's rapping a bit about crooked cops and the justice system, so I thought he was going to go deep into that. But within a couple more bars, he's quickly ranting and raving about girls popping their ass, climbing poles, just some very generic shit. So a lot of the bars on this are lacking focus. I think this is some of A$AP Rocky's worst songwriting. Not to say that he's always been an incredible songwriter, but still, man, I thought the rapping on this was a big step down from what we've heard from him in the past. That track does have some decent Clams Casino production, which does help hold it up, because those vocal pads on the beat are really dope, man. I always fuck with Clams Casino, and I'm glad that these two could come back together just like they did in the past. Now, as for some more trash bars, this is the trashiest bar of all trash bars that ever trash barred. I'm talking about on Distorted Records, when he says, "My newest president an asshole, I guess that's why I'm leaving turd stains." Oh boy, that is just like... where do I even start with that, man? Like, I can't even believe he got in the booth and actually rapped about turd stains. This shit is fucking terrible. But still, this is another track that has a good beat on it, so I still fuck with it. Has a catchy hook. The beat has a little bit of a boom bap vibe on it, so I'm definitely into that. But just some of the bars on this are really brutal, man. I also didn't like on this track how we're getting these interludes that kind of slow up the momentum. Still one of the better tracks, though, and fuck it, I'm gonna put it as one of my favorites, because I gotta have something here. But one of my issues here is that this shit is just very jumbled, man. It's all over the place, and it feels like he made some of these songs just by throwing random shit together. For example, Brotha Man does have some decent soul production, but this shit right here has awful pitch down vocals from Rocky. Then we get French Montana wailing all over it, and on top of all that, we get a verse that goes from Rocky to Snoop to Frank Ocean with no real sense of flow or chemistry. This shit is just put together like if you were making stew and you're like, hey, I'm gonna put some boots in there, fuck it, I'll put some boots in there, I'm gonna take some fucking crawfish faces and put that shit in there, some carrots, just fucking all kinds of shit together for no reason, no rhyme or reason. The shit is just a damn mess. But the worst offender by far has got to be CALLDROPS, man. I actually brought this up on Twitter, and someone said, we'll see how you feel about this track in a couple of months, but don't worry, I ain't gonna listen to this shit again, so my opinion's not gonna change. This is a fucking awful song. So what you get here is just Rocky singing horribly over guitar. I'm so tired of this trend where rappers do this shit. Can we please stop this shit, where rappers sing horribly over guitar, and then, you know, sometimes the shit's a little bit lo-fi, and so artistic, man, like, no one's ever done this, wow. Hip-hop with guitars and things. It's fucking terrible, man. We've heard a lot of people doing this. I don't fuck with it. Maybe some people do. Of course, this is just my opinion, but this is part of the song I didn't like. And you also get a garbage Kodak Black verse that is offbeat. I mean, it's not really his fault because the shit is literally phoned in, like phoned in from jail, so it's just bad quality, just pasted on here. I can appreciate the sentiment of this track. You know, he's representing for Kodak, but still, man, overall, this is just a really bad track. And Kids Turned Out Fine isn't much better. This is another track where he's doing that singing over guitar as if he's fucking Kurt Cobain or some shit. Really doesn't work out that well. I don't fuck with it. I just feel like this is one of those albums that a lot of people are going to praise because it's different, man. It's experimental. It's so different and experimental. You just got to open your mind, man. You don't understand high art. You can do experimental and different, but make the shit dope. This shit was experimental and different, I guess, based on what we've heard from Rocky in the past, but a lot of these tracks did not come together well. But to be fair, there are some things I do like here, if you're still watching by now, because if you like the project, maybe you turn the shit off. But so, maybe I should have started with the positives, but fuck it, here we go. I like the ASAP Forever remix. I thought this was all right because you get that Moby sample that's kind of cool, and Kid Cudi fits it very perfectly. And 143rd also has that throwback Rocky vibe. I like the hazy production here. He's just representing for where he's from, where he was raised, so that was a cool concept. And this felt like something that could have been on his first project. I understand I keep holding on to that first project like that was his best shit, but I can't help it, man. I'm open-minded to artists doing new things and growing. This is the way a lot of artists continue to make great music throughout their career, but you gotta do it right, man. I just feel like ASAP Rocky's kind of been going downhill, and this shit is one of the biggest step backs I've heard from an artist in quite a while. Now, I did also like the beat on Praise the Lord. Here we're getting a flute banger or some sort of woodwind, as well as Skepta featured. I liked Skepta on here, but god damn it, man, his flow was so repetitive. Then Rocky starts doing that same repetitive flow. The hook has that same repetitive flow. I was all into this shit because of the beat, but then it's just like this. They rap like this, over and over and over and over. So that shit got old quick, but hey, man, it's still a banger. So, it's catchy, works for what it is. Also, as far as verses go, I think Frank Ocean snapped on Purity. That was probably the best, and really, that's all I gotta say here, man. This shit, I listened through it, I went back a couple of times to try to piece stuff together, but I was not liking this project, so that's why I did a rant, man. This shit was just thrown together. Hopefully you enjoyed it and got a couple of laughs or something, but this is a 2 out of 5 to me. Like, there are a couple of things here that I like, but overall, it's just, even the songs that I kind of like have some shit going on that fucks them up, you know what I mean? I already talked about that a little bit with Toney, Praise the Lord, and some of the other joints. There are certainly still glimpses and flashes here. Like, I don't think ASAP Rocky's all the way done, but this was a huge step back, as I said, and hopefully he can come back with something better. But that's just my opinion. I've seen some people loving this shit, saying how it's just like the newest, craziest project that's out right now. And hey, if you like it, that's cool. Tell me why. If you don't like it, tell me why. Whatever you do, just tell me why in the comment section, man. You know how it goes. You also want to make sure you check me out on all my social media sites. Show me love and show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.